Alright, on today's installment of trying to get a car that's been sitting for too long back on the road, I actually did get it inspected. I got a license plate for it, and on the whole mile trip from my house to the shop where I got it inspected, somewhere in that process the odometer stopped working. So, yep, that's happened before, and I'm hoping there's a little gear mechanism in the back of the odometer. I'm hoping that's what it is. The speedometer works, odometer's stopped. Yeah, so I've got one on order from LMR. It'll be here later this week. I'm going to start with going ahead and prepping the dash. So let's see if I can put this camera somewhere. Okay. Step one for me is take the steering wheel off. So next step, it's been a while since I've done this, so hopefully I remember everything, is the light switch mechanism, taking the knob off. And if you pull it out, there's a little slot in the bottom. You can get a screwdriver in there. Just push up and then pull out, and it comes right off. So that's that. And I think the only thing holding this in at this point, the bezel, are two screws. And they'll take a socket, or I think they're also Phillips, not Phillips. Possibly a Torx. Definitely a Torx. Looks like a T20. I think that will stay. Hopefully we don't break a bezel in the process. You can kind of hear the clips when they come free. Got one more, I think. There we go. And rotate it down. There you go. As you can see, you got these metal clips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clips. All right. Black Torx bits, 1, 2, 3, 4 it looks like. I think they're Torx screws. I think that's what's holding it. We'll find out in a second. There's also some brass looking ones. I think that's part of the gauge assembly. Let me see if I can get this in here and show you guys. So there's not enough room. You can see the brass guys down there, and there, and there, and there, and there. I don't think that's what we want. So black one here, here, and there. Okay, so that will come out with some kind of magic. All right. There's two, this is going to be very hard to see. There's two wire looms, clips, plugs that need to be removed. There's a white one on this side, and you'll never see the other one. There's a black one on the other side. So you just kind of have to do this by feel. So it's got a tab that you can press in and pull down. It comes out easy. And if I can find this one, the other side's the same. There's a tab in the middle on what would have been the top. This one's a little tighter. I would wiggle it and it comes right out. Yeah. All right, we've moved to the indoor workbench here. Try to separate the front from the back. Again, this is where we're going to look on these gold brass colored Torx. You can get a socket on it. I'm not sure what size it is. We're now down to a T15 Torx. All right, let's see if it comes apart. All right, so just need some cleaning while it's apart. Now we're down to the gauges, and it is 3 separate gauge banks here. I don't know what you want to call them. 1, 2, and in the middle is 3. This one looks like it's held in with 1 screw there, and then aligned with a pin on the top. All right, better equipped now. Got a screwdriver. Start on the sides. You should be able to gently pry these up. There you go. There's one. Just have these pins that go into the slots. But do the sides first because they've got these tabs that lock everything together. There you go. So this one's the same. There we go. All right, set this to the side for now. On the motor, there's a worm gear, and I think this is the other gear that we're going to replace. So I've got to wait for my new gears to show up. That's generally it. The motor will turn gently. Don't put too much pressure on those pins. There you go. So if you can lift up on these little blue tabs a little bit, and then the worm gear will come right out. All right, new gears came in, and you can see them in that bag. The part number. New gears. Worm gear. The base that goes down, and this is the drive gear. So if I haven't said it already, be very careful of your needle stoppers. If you break them, they are pretty much unobtainable. Yeah, well, it's pretty soft because some of the gear broke off just then. There we go. Yeah, it definitely had some gears broken off. Alright. Actually, the whole ends broke off, and I see them stuck in there. I don't know if you can see in there, but the ends of the gear are broken off in there. Alright, so they're out and a mess. Alright, I'm not going to get into recommending what grease you should or shouldn't use. Pick something plastic compatible. This should go and snap in. There we go. I'm pretty certain that's why the other one failed, because the ends had broken off. I'm gonna, if I remember, these are on here pretty strongly, and probably, yeah, it's just going to disintegrate as I take it off. That's okay, we have a new one. Okay, actually didn't end up needing pliers. I just was able to press down on the table and got the gear on sufficiently. So you don't need to go all the way to the bottom, just close. And that should do it. So now I'm going to put a little grease on here. Make sure I make a good mess. Okay. And this will slide back in, and we should be able to just twist it in. There you go. And gears are engaged. Alright, while I have this apart, turn it like that. Alright, I have LEDs, and all of this stuff came from LMR, and I'll put links in the description. Alright, that's it. Now we can go put the cluster back in the car and test everything out. Okay, installation should be just the reverse of taking it out. work. I took the cluster back out. I don't know if you noticed in that last shot, but all the lights weren't actually lighting up. So I like these LEDs. They look good. Nice and bright. Looks fresh. I think it's worth it. They are fiddly. So I took the cluster back out and I tested each one of the lights in the socket individually until I found the ones that weren't working, and they aren't making good contact. So there was one or two that weren't making good contact. I think there's 5 bulbs total. And then plug it back in without actually mounting everything in place, test it. Some were working, some weren't. So the polarity on these LEDs matters versus the incandescent bulbs don't. So test it, whichever one's not working, take it out, flip it 180 around, test them again. That one would come on. So it kind of worked through until I got all of them the right way. And now, like I said, that looks really good to me. Really happy with it. I haven't driven around the block yet, but I'm going to wrap the video up here. I have complete faith that fixed my odometer not working, because I've done this before. And that gear that I took out, it's just mush. I don't know what happens to them, but over time, sitting in the heat, whatever, they get really soft. So anyway, that wraps it up. If you have any questions, please post a comment. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, thanks, guys.